What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Bronx Pinstripe Show. Once again, for the second episode in a row, we only have one win to talk about. It was a good win. It was a nice, good comeback win, a much-needed win. Obviously, don't get swept at home by the Blue Jays. Benintendi, first big hit as a Yankee. Trevino stepping up huge, closing out that game. Like, really great positive things from that win yesterday. But, oh my God, is the rest of it dog shit. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning. They had to salvage that, and I tweeted that it does make me happy. And after a players meeting and all these things, the new guys step up with to earn their pinstripes, to get their Yankees moment, whatever. But Benintendi and Trevino, he's the one that's surprising me the most, to be honest. I wasn't very high on him, but man, 2 1/3. That's a nut-up performance right there, if I ever seen one. I mean, coming in, understanding where the bullpen is. Boone just stays with him, which everybody's just like ready to kill. But at the same time, like, who you going to? Who are you going to? So, yeah, awesome. Benintendi, that shot was just like authority. He it's like he walked up there knowing, goddamn it, he was going to do exactly what he did.
Well, you know what that reminded me? Because he hit so many home runs as a Red Sox against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. It's just like his swing. He even talked about this when he came over from Kansas City. It's like, I'm not a power hitter, and Kansas City's ballpark is huge. Like, I'm not going to hit home runs there, but Yankee Stadium, he can pop a few. He's been pretty disappointing. Like, we're going to talk about the entire lineup and the numbers. Like, Benintendi, since the trade, has been really bad. Like, not what we thought we were getting. But yes, that is a huge moment. Maybe that lifts some sort of monkey off of his back and he can start to go, because I mean, they need guys to start stepping up. They need pieces in this lineup to start hitting. I don't care how good the starting pitching is on certain days. I don't care. Like, yeah, the bullpen can step up. When you score, it was like 1.8 runs or something, like a game over the past like 2 weeks or something. Like, you're not going to win any games that way. So it doesn't matter. Like, we're going to talk about all the stuff. We're going to talk about Boone, because I have some thoughts on Boone. But ultimately, when the offense was that piss poor bad, nothing matters.
No, that's it. You guys got to play. At some point you have to perform, and you have to hit the ball and score runs for your team. Bottom line, like, that's it. We could point to all the injuries that have occurred, but for the most part, this season has been pretty good. The injuries are
not an excuse. I don't want to interrupt. Like, the injury,
they're not an excuse.
There's enough guys in that lineup to hit. Okay, this lineup.
No, they're not an excuse. I'm more saying you can point to them as an excuse, but it's not one. Is what I was going to say before you so rudely interrupted me. The opportunity that they have in front of them with the guys that are there still able to score runs, like, no problem there. Boone's not wrong when he says some of the things that he says in certain ways, because there are certain sentiment to the guys gotta do the thing. You gotta do the thing. You gotta hit the ball. That's it. And yesterday they hit the ball at opportune times and they won the game. So, they didn't. It's not like they put up a 10 spot. They put up a 4 spot, and it came late in the game. But you know what it did? It was an opportunity for a new guy to step up in a huge moment, and he did. So hopefully they can get off. Hopefully they can push off of this and push it forward. Hopefully the line in the sand is the Paul O'Neill, the warrior. That's what I love. I love the behind the scenes sentiment of the warrior and getting that victory. Right? You gotta use that as a springboard.
Oh yeah, sure. First time he's in the building in like 2.5 years.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like,
who is this guy?
He's talking about how he's gonna have to parachute in. I don't know if they're gonna let me through the doors when I get there. Yeah, the Paul O'Neill stuff. Obviously, I think I've said this on the show a number of times. He was my guy when I was younger. We're all Jeter fans because Jeter was the number one guy in the Yankees. Everyone obviously loved the core four, but O'Neill was my guy. I was a sucker for the emotion that he showed in the dugout and the frustration that he showed and the leadership that he provided. So I was getting the feels watching the montage of O'Neill. Anytime he'd go out there with a busted up hamstring or something and still run around, make awesome plays in the outfield, dive into second base, all that stuff. But the big takeaway from the O'Neill ceremony is Hal just getting shredded by the audience. And I posed the question, do you think Hal cares? that he's walking out there getting booed. Because I know for a damn fact, if George walked out there and got booed, that would get to him, okay? That would not sit well with him. But I genuinely wonder if Hal cares.
So you're saying, asking if he cares, like, does it hurt his feelings? Does it? You're
getting booed by 50,000 people, okay? Like, no matter
in
the
your
setting,
stadium.
In your stadium, yes. The ironic thing is, they all paid money to come in. Like, all of them are paying you to boo you, right? Like, at the end of the day. But still, that has to bother. I hope that bothers him.
It should bother you. If you're a human being and you get booed in the place that you are in charge of, yeah, probably the reason why you're getting booed is because they're unhappy with your performance. They're unhappy with something that you're doing. And if that's the case, then yes, you should listen to your customer and say, why are you booing me? Oh, it's because we're not winning, because we're not putting all of the efforts towards winning and doing the things that we need to be doing as the New York Yankees. That's what a lot of fans think. But you know what? Hal did a lot of those things. I don't disagree. He's not wrong in his head. Like, he put things out there to make this team better. They went out and got pieces that they needed. We're booing the fans. He's just a representative right now of the fans. Like, he's spending money.
Booing the fans? What do you mean?
The players. The fans are booing the players.
Well, that was going to be my next question, because Cashman was not on the field, but he was announced at some point, or Brian Cashman. Brian Cashman got booed too. Like, whenever his name was mentioned, he got booed as well.
Because the guys he brought over are not doing their job.
No.
They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
My next question was going to be, like, I understand why Hal was booed, but, like, is he even the right guy to be booing? I don't think so.
He's a suit. I think every Yankee suit in today's baseball who walks out on that field is getting booed. I don't care if your name is Steinbrenner or Trust, you're getting booed.
Well, yeah. Okay. but like, do you think he cares?
Not really.
Like, yeah, I don't think so either.
I don't think so. I don't think he's so still either. The owner of the New York Yankees.
But like,
I think he's confident in what he's doing.
Right. That's the thing. He's going to stick to his guns. He believes in the plan that he's got, and that I believe that Hal and ownership is satisfied making money year in and year out, being competitive year in and year out. But the desire and the need to win a championship at all costs, I do not believe is there.
It's kind of unfair to say right now, though, to be honest, because they went out and did the things that we all look at the time at the moves that were made at the deadline, at the acquisitions, all of the things, and this team is good. This team should be good. Let me rephrase that.
They want, though. They want a good team. They don't want a bad team.
No shit. But they should be. They're at a level where they could win a championship. That is the type of caliber on this team.
We all were convinced of that after the first 3 months of the season. But like, I think
yes, they are. Yes, they have the talent to win. Absolutely.
I'm not like, I thought definitely, like, this is a World Series caliber team. How could you not? They're winning 70% of their games. Now,
but we're looking at ownership.
They're not a 300%. They're not a 30% win team either. But split the difference.
We're looking at ownership and what ownership can control, and that means spend money on players to make you better. This roster on paper is very, very good. Everything about it is very good on paper. There's no reason why this last month should have happened. Bottom line.
But guess what?
There's no reason. It did. I know it did. I saw it. It happened. It was not fun to watch.
You say on paper. Guess what? The 18, 19, 20, and 21 teams were also good on paper.
Correct. But
and
not as good.
The 20 and 21 teams were not good on the field. The 18, 19 teams were obviously good on the field. They fell short in some areas.
And they, in theory, fixed the problems that we said were problems. They went out and did the thing. They offered Judge a massive contract. Was it enough? Obviously not. But it was a competitive contract. It was one that we all thought it was not an insulting contract. We thought it was a good offer at the time. Yeah. I mean, granted, they do have to redo how the Braves, the way that they're signing players that are 23 years old, 22 years old, for 10 plus years is ridiculous.
I think they're like hypnotizing people down there or something. Like, are they drugging the agents to like getting them to agree to this? I guess when you're 22 years old and you're like, well, I could blow out my knee tomorrow and then never see a dime. So like, this is guaranteed money. Like, I get it. I get that perspective, but
whatever they're doing, they're doing, it's working, and they're doing a very good job, and they're going to be nasty for the next like 6 years. That's a really long time to have a nucleus in today's age of baseball with free agency the way it is. Anyway, I digress. The Yankees were doing
a Braves podcast.
The Yankees were doing a good job on the offseason. Like I was happy with the way things went down. I'm not going to sit here and throw shit at Hal Steinbrenner for not spending money and booing him because of that. It's not his fault that these players are playing like ass.
But what about? You're right. They're booing a suit. Okay, so let's lump Cashman and Hal together as the suit that is the entity that is getting booed, right? And what about like some decisions that maybe people are not happy with? Not necessarily the guys that they acquired, but they see Montgomery get traded and he's pitching to like a .54 ERA right now. That trade looks really bad.
That one pisses everybody off. That one left a sour taste in everybody's mouth.
Also, Gallo was getting consistent playing time pretty much up until the last 2 weeks before he was here for no reason. He could have been shipped out earlier, or maybe you could just say, oh, well, they wanted to get money for him. That could be something you point to Hal and be like, just eat the money. When a player is that detrimental to your everyday lineup, who cares about the $4 million? Just get him out of there. What about the fact that they're maybe delaying calling up Peraza and Volpe for service time manipulation? Now, it might be because they're not ready and they need to get through the next steps.
Volpe's in Somerset.
I know that, but you just mentioned the Braves. The Braves call guys up from Double-A and then sign them to 10-year deals. Okay, so like it's not impossible. Your favorite player of all time, Greg Bird, got called up from Double-A, and we all know how successful that was.
It was amazing.
He was really good in 2015. But my point is,
oh my God, 2015.
that was when he was called up. That's when Teixeira got injured and the bird era began and ended. But what about the fact that they might be looking at that and like, okay, they called up some young guys this past week, Florial and Cabrera. Cabrera is like, I don't know. I love this guy's energy. He's running around the field, every right field robbing home runs, third base jumping into the wall, making catches, shortstop pulling the Jeter jump throw, like exciting player. But like that's not the prospect fans are waiting for. So maybe they're also
it's who they thought was there though.
Right. They've now realized there's an O at the end of his first name.
Whoops. Yeah, no, I mean, I have no problem with what they're doing. I have no problem.
Would you have booed if you were there?
Yeah, probably. Because it's fun. And unless you're sitting in legend seats, you're booing.
Do you think it was awkward for
You're
O'Neal?
kind of booing at the moat too, you know?
You think it was awkward for O'Neal? He's like they're freaking booing right now. Like, this is my day.
No, because I think O'Neal understands it. O'Neal's like, yeah, all right, I get it.
What did you think of? He was pretty nervous during his speech. I thought, like he was
even the lead up. You know, this whole week they were. You could tell that behind the scenes he was talking to Kay and Meredith and Flaherty, whomever, about the nerves. You could tell because they were razzing him. They were definitely making it a point to be like, you know, big deal. Don't know if your number's going to fit in there. All these things. So I thought it was cool. You could tell how much of a big deal it was to him. And I love I get chills when I say things like this because of those 90s teams, man, just like cut deep on me. So it was awesome. You know, I love hearing him reminisce, seeing his whole family back there. Very cool. Like the fact that his whole family has families now. It's like it's crazy. But yeah, the water cooler, beautiful touch with the water cooler. The whole thing was good. I thought it was really good. It was really good to see him get his shine because, again, you could just see how much it meant to him personally.
Do you agree with Mattingly's statement that the O'Neal trade was the second biggest in Yankees history after Babe Ruth?
When I heard that, I was like,
thinking about it. I was like,
that's a bold statement.
I was like, holy shit, Mattingly, like, calm down. But then I was thinking about it, and I was like, I legitimately do not think the Yankees are the Yankees in the 90s without Paul O'Neal. Like, do they still win a championship? Yeah, probably, because the team was that good. But he definitely added a dynamic to that team that
Yeah.
we're not going to get from any old right fielder. So like that I agree with, but it's like, is that the second biggest trade in Yankees history? Like, I don't know.
I mean, when you look at the result of what happened afterwards, it's up there. It's not as crazy of a statement as it sounds, because when you hear it, you're like, no, there's no way that's it. And I think I've said this in the past, but growing up, Roberto Kelly was my guy. Like he was like a 280 hitter, like
Did
good
you hate
defense.
O'Neill when he came over because of that?
I didn't hate O'Neill. I hated the fact that they got rid of Roberto Kelly in that trade. I wouldn't say devastated, but I was not happy as a young pup. But yeah, it worked out.
Logan, you got something on this?
Yeah, so I kind of was thinking about it too. And they did trade for Roger Maris. So that might, that might be 2, but I mean, it's a conversation at the very least. And if it's not 2, it's 3 probably. So
how many championships did they win with Roger Maris? 2 championships?
I think
I believe
so.
It was 2.
Look.
They won 4 with O'Neill. Obviously, Roger Maris broke Babe Ruth's record. That's a bigger moment in Yankees history than anything O'Neill did. But I wonder if those late 50s, early 60s Yankees probably don't win those championships without Roger Maris. He was an MVP, so like I'm not even going to make that argument. But okay, fine. Like I'm also thinking
Mattingly thought about this. This wasn't like Mattingly just pulled this out of his ass and came out of nowhere. Mattingly is a Yankee captain that made a very bold statement. He thought about this one.
They traded for Roger Clemens. Like that was obviously
they did trade for Roger Clemens, but
trade.
four championships and a culture.
I think potentially, I did a history episode about this. The biggest non-trade in Yankees history was not trading Mariano Rivera to the Detroit Tigers, because that was very close to happening, and that was the biggest non-trade in Yankees history.
Wasn't there someone else in that trade too, or there was, or the offseason there was other?
I forget the exact details of it, and I think it was Mariano Rivera for David Wells, plus some other pieces back in '95. This was,
yeah.
And that would have been disastrous. Mariano Rivera was also almost traded. They talked about it in the Jeter documentary.
That's what I'm thinking
for the shortstop of the Mariners, because that was in the '96. Was that '96 that would have happened?
I think going into '96, it was after Showalter was out.
Not trading Mariano Rivera twice was the second biggest thing in Yankees history behind Babe Ruth.
Yeah. Well, and Mattingly, I think, has such a and O'Neill has dubbed Mattingly as his favorite teammate. Posada was up there too, I think. But the dynamic, Mattingly saw all the bad years, and then when he comes over in '93, then you see the shift. There was a dynamic change in the way that the team was playing, and obviously if the strike doesn't happen, the year of the strike, the Yankees and the Expos were, I think, neck and neck for best record. They had a damn good team. And I actually think that was Mattingly's best opportunity to win a World Series. And the rug got pulled out from underneath him as well. But the shift and the dynamic, I think, changed pretty quickly when O'Neill got there.
Yeah. They talked about how he had a championship with Cincinnati, so he had that experience that he came over. I believe it's also been talked about how Lou Piniella actually helped orchestrate the trade. He knew O'Neill would work in New York, and that's like a thing we've talked about a million times, right? Like the Yankees have traded for guys that can't handle New York. Piniella, who obviously played in New York, won in New York, knew O'Neill could handle New York. That's a huge thing.
Did Derek Jeter know that Giancarlo Stanton could handle New York?
I don't think Derek Jeter gave a shit.
Well, he could. I mean, he can handle it.
Yeah, I think Giancarlo can handle New York. I think he can. That's not the issue with Giancarlo. It's injuries.
No, so
is obviously the issues.
Yeah. Derek knew that.
Yeah. When Derek wasn't there, I know Logan was taking bets, seeing if Jeter was going to show up for O'Neill Day. I knew he wasn't going to show up for O'Neill Day because he's already got a day coming up this year. He's not going to Yankee Stadium twice. Come on.
Yeah. You could watch the captain. If Brian Cashman's there.
No. So they did go to 5 World Series with Roger Maris. They won 2 of them, lost 3. They also went to 5 World Series with Paul O'Neill. Won 4 of them, lost 1. So ipso facto, Paul O'Neill better than Roger Maris.
Ipso facto, 2 championships.
Also a right fielder. All right, let's talk about Boone, who we do have some audio. So, Logan, let's play the audio, and then, Scott, you and I can react to everything that Boone said this weekend.
This is 6 series losses in a row, which is a first for the Yankees since 1985. When you hear that, what goes through your mind? I know you know it's a rough stretch.
It just... no crap. I mean, we can ask all these questions in regards. We've answered them till we're blue in the face. We got to go out and do it. I got to quit answering these questions about this state and this perplexion, and we got to play better. Period. And the great thing is, it's right in front of us. It's right here, and we can fix it. It's right here. It's there, and we can run away with this thing. And we got the dudes in there to do it. We got to do it. You know? If we don't score, tough to win. And I'll answer these same questions. Am I perplexed? Yeah, I am. We got to do better. And, you know, the good thing is 1985, I'm not sure how that season ended for the Yankees. Probably second or third place. The good thing is we are in first place, and we got the pen. Reggie tells me all the time, we got the pen. We get to write the script the rest of the way. No one else can get in our way if we go play our game. And that's what we got to do. But we got to, we got to stop talking about it. We got to go do it.
Oh, Boone was fired up, smacking the table, showing everyone he's mad. How do you illustrate to people that you're mad? You smack the table, right?
Yeah, it doesn't. That's not it. It's a card table. That thing vibrates,
right?
Like bounces.
Right. Microphone knocks over.
Microphone knocks over. He's got all sorts of noises. It sounds so much worse.
It felt very contrived to me. Listen, I'm not saying he's not angry that the Yankees are struggling so badly. He's got to be angry. I know he's frustrated. The players are frustrated. But we've learned over the past 4 years, that's not Aaron Boone. Aaron Boone is not a get mad type of guy. He's a stay the course type of guy. He's a positive glass half full type of guy. So that little show of frustration, that's not Aaron Boone. Okay. So I just didn't buy it. I thought it was completely contrived and
why do you think he doesn't get the guy gets frustrated? We see it all the time. He gets in his like emotions and then gets frustrated and then has these like little outbursts. He's done this in the past.
At umpires, like about.
I'm not going to say this wasn't
stuff like that. Not about like the team playing the long haul, because he's brainwashed into thinking that, oh no, long haul is we've got the players on the field, they're going to come through, back of the baseball card type mentality. But
it's been a month. It's been a month plus. So asking the same questions, answering the same questions, which is exactly what has to happen at this point. Yeah. Do I think that he went into that press conference not knowing that he was going to do something? No, he definitely was going into that press conference with a purpose. There's no doubt. But I mean, he definitely is frustrated, and you could see the frustration.
I said he's frustrated.
You could hear it too.
He has to be frustrated.
The microphone bounced.
Do you think that he's slamming stuff in the clubhouse, or is he calm? I think he's
got a boil over in the clubhouse. I think he does. I think he's got a boil over in the clubhouse. So, yeah, I don't think it happens often, but I think that unless he's an emotional guy. Right? You agree with that? He's an emotional guy. There's no doubt about it. He does wear his emotions on his sleeve when he's out in the field. He does. So I think that when he's in the clubhouse, it's a different mentality. He's talking to the guys. It's different. It's baseball. It's not in the media. And yeah, I think he probably had a moment. I don't think it was long. I don't think it's a sustained thing. I don't think he's screaming and like, belittling people at their locker as he's walking around like, you can't make contact. You double clutch when you throw. He's not going around doing that. He's
roasting people. He's not holding a roast in the clubhouse.
Yeah, but but I think that the frustration does boil over. But I think again, he's trying to send some messages throughout, whether you see it or not, whether it means anything or not. Players meeting happened after. Maybe it did exactly what it needed to do. But he's not wrong. The players have to play.
No,
the players have to play. You can't score. You can't not score runs.
No, we already said that.
And attempt to win games, right? But That's what he's saying. So his frustration and the things that he's saying, as much as anybody wants to crush Boone, it's not him. There's nothing he can do to help.
There's small
the
things
bat.
like still in-game decisions. Like I liked that there was a
in-game decisions doesn't help score 1 to 2 runs over a large amount of time.
It helps you win or lose games, especially close games, which they're obviously playing because they're not hitting. Like the first inning on Sunday, he did a hit and run with Rizzo and DJ. I like that. There were opportunities on Saturday, especially in the first inning, first and second, 1 out with Rizzo up to do something like that. He didn't, and the Yankees didn't get any runs. And then in the second inning, they had a run on the Florial single, and then first and second with 1 out and DJ up. They didn't do anything. DJ struck out, Benintendi ground out. Fourth inning, first and second
with DJ up with 1 out. What do you want them doing? You want them what? Please tell me what you want them doing at that point. You want them hitting and running with a guy on second base?
No, probably not in that situation.
With DJ up, the guy who can handle the bat the most?
Exactly. You got a guy who can handle the bat the most.
Okay,
that's when
you
do something. That's when you make a play. When you put a play on like they did yesterday.
No. You have a runner on first and second with DJ up.
Probably not in the first and second situation, but in some of these other situations you could.
Okay, we could go all through and say, oh, you should have done this, should have done that at like small moments of the game, but I don't know. I think that's a fruitless effort to go through and do that.
It's not his fault that they're scoring 2 runs. I'm not saying
they can't score. They can't hit the ball when they need to hit the ball.
I'm not saying it's Boone's fault they're scoring 2 runs a game. That's asinine, okay? I'm just saying there's small moments in games that he's not helping the situation. And also, yesterday, when the Blue Jays tied the game, I thought he got outmanaged in the 7th inning. So Loaisiga's pitching, and Bichette gets a leadoff single. Chapman's forced out. Merrifield walks, and then Schneider, for the Blue Jays manager, pinch hits Biggio for Espinal. And Boone immediately goes to the lefty Peralta, and then Schneider immediately brings in Springer, who gets a single, loads the bases, and then Bradley Jr. walks. I don't know how you didn't see this coming from a mile away if you're Aaron Boone. Like,
this is the second time this has happened in the last month with him getting just toasted on the switch.
The double pinch hitter because you make a pitching change. It's like, so the alternative here is you have Loaisiga face Biggio, which I will pick every day of the week because I'd rather have. No,
that's not it because Biggio was never actually going to bat. It was Loaisiga versus whoever Biggio was pinch hitting for.
Espinal. Okay, fine. I'd rather have Espinal or Biggio hitting than have Springer hitting.
Biggio was never going to hit. That Biggio was just a pawn in this whole thing. He was just they were essentially, here, you go up there, show your face. You're not in the game. Don't act like you're in the game. Barely take swings because you're not going to be in the game. George Springer was in the tunnel taking swings the entire time Biggio was up there.
Sure.
So yeah, no, he got played on that. There's no doubt. And then Springer got on. So
it didn't matter because Benintendi hit the homer and Trevino closed out the game, so they won the game. But that could have obviously been costly, especially if they don't get out of that with the score tied. Like, because they get out of that and the Blue Jays get another run or two, and that might be, that might be ball game. So anyway, we've seen Boone. Boone's seems like the type of manager that when things are going well, everything's roses and sunshine. And then we have not seen this team respond in times of adversity to Aaron Boone this year and in past years. And that's, to me, a glaring issue. Is that, when the team's winning 70% of the games and the starting pitching pitches 6 shutout innings every night, Boone looks like a genius.
Every manager looks like a
genius.
All
three of us could manage the game in that situation when things are going that well.
The things that we were looking at in those moments too, because we were looking for things to either praise him on or not praise him on during those moments, because you understand when the players are playing as well as they are, management basically just has to not screw it up. But when you look at what he was doing early in the year, he was letting guys go further. Were they pitching well? Did they earn that trust? Yes, they did. But he also allowed that to happen. Didn't pull them after the 3rd time through the rotation just because. So they relaxed on some of the things that they had been doing for the past few years with the analytics and making sure that the guys were able to be stretched even further on the pitching side. And to me, I think it was it bared fruits. It was a good thing to do. Of course, now this team has been, I heard yesterday on the broadcast, the last month, worst team in baseball. That's crazy. Worst team in baseball. So when you are the worst team in baseball after you were went on pace to win 120 games, whatever the hell it was at the peak. What happened? What went down between that and this? On paper, you got better at the deadline, right? You got better.
Yep.
How is this team so bad? It's mind-boggling. And when Boone's like, I'm searching for reasons, like, yeah, any manager in that moment would be looking for reasons, because for whatever purpose, this team is not doing their job between the lines. Change the lineup as much as you want, double switch as much as you want, hit and run, score some runs, guys. Logan.
I think I might have an answer. So I was thinking about it, and you know me, I'm a very optimistic Yankee fan. But what did they do the whole first 3 months of the season? Fell behind, came back, won. Now they're falling behind, not coming back. We kept saying that fall behind thing was not sustainable. They kept falling behind. They continue to fall behind. They're not hitting it all now, I understand. But that level of 750 baseball was kind of a thing because they were able to come back so much. And now they're not coming back at all.
Yeah, but they had a lot of comeback wins. It's not like every game that they won was a comeback win in the first 2.5 months.
They had the most comebacks in baseball.
Because they had the most wins in baseball, so you're naturally going to have the most comebacks in baseball. And also a comeback, stupidly, I think it can be you fell behind 1-0 in the first inning and then you won the game 7-1. That's a comeback. It's like, yeah, okay, fine, yeah.
No, I understand, but you still came back. You still were behind at some point. You're not scoring first, you're not scoring early.
And they were able to come back because the offense was averaging 5 runs a game. The starting pitching, even if it did fall behind, was still going 6+ innings and only giving up, pitching to like a sub-3 ERA.
No, I agree.
So everything boils down to this team not scoring runs. That's it. Like it's as simple as this. It's as simple as the guys are not executing at the plate. Like bottom line. Logan, if they were scoring 5 runs a game, if they were averaging that in the second half, we would not be talking about this team struggling with it. They don't score.
They still did average like close to 5 runs a game, I believe, in July, and they still were under 500 in July. The pitching staff was especially bad in July, and the pitching staff has come around in August.
The pitching staff righted itself. The offense has not necessarily righted itself. And there were some big spikes in those games too. If you're We called out a couple big spikes.
There was like that Pittsburgh game, the 2 Boston games that kind of skewed things. So the offense was inconsistent, but still light years better than it's been in August, which they've been shut out 5 times already, in the month, the most shutouts in baseball. But I agree, Logan, comebacks are not sustainable. But again, I go back to, it's like a comeback can be 2 different things. You came back from 1-0 in the first inning, or you came back from 3-0 down in the 7th inning, right? Like, coming back late innings is not going to be sustainable. Eventually, you're not going to get to the other team's bullpens. So if we go dive into the wins and find out that they had like 10 of those victories, then okay, fine. But I don't know, from just like my recollection of watching this team, I don't feel like they had a crazy amount of those types of comebacks. I guess
late and close comebacks.
Yeah, late and close. I mean, certainly there's a few that we recall that we talked about as like the best games of the month, right? Like the Toronto games, obviously those Houston wins when they were being no hit, or the even the Cleveland game when they had the what's his face, the drawing a blank on his name, fought with the fan.
The kid in the outfield, yeah.
So Miles Straw game, I believe. So like certainly those types of things. Like there's those huge wins, but I don't feel like that was happening 3 times a week. But I guess
I agree with you. I mean, I look back on this streak and I really look at it as August 1st when they started that home series against Seattle. That's when it really started, where they couldn't buy a win. And you just look at like some of the like losses, like they lost 4-3 in St. Louis. They lost 1-0 in St. Louis. These are games that they not easily, but they do win early in the year. They figure out a way. They lost 1-0 in Seattle, that 13-inning game. They lost 4-3 in Seattle, another game that close, didn't win. All the close games, the 1-run games that they were winning, remember best record 1-run games, it was kind of a market correction in the complete opposite direction. They can't win a 1-run game right now.
Yeah, and even when they did have narrow leads, their bullpen was faltering. It's like they were finding ways to lose these games. And when the margin of error is so thin because your offense is not going to be scoring runs, that's what happens. And I kind of felt like when did Saturday, right? So it was the Saturday game that
I'm gonna hold on real quick while you're looking that up. I'm gonna pull a quote from it's not a direct quote, but it's close enough from Sunday when Jorge Posada was on the broadcast talking about O'Neill, talking about the team, talking about the things. Jorge says this is good for the team. This is all very good for the team. I'm glad they're going through this. This is good for the team. Hold on, and the reason why is because they can gel, they can bond, they can go through adversity and become better because of it, and look around and rely on each other and lean on each other and get through these tough times so that they can come out and blow the division out of the water down the stretch. They are going through this because they need to. They need to be battle tested. They need to know what it's like to be this bad and to get booed and scrutinized and just beaten down in the gutter and just called the worst. What a bunch of losers these guys are. This is good for them. This is what Jorge says.
At what point is it no longer good and the bad streak has been going on too long? Because I feel like we're nearing that point.
The division. So before yesterday, I'm like, my God.
If they lost yesterday, we're talking
down to
about
6.
Because
it was the 6 in the win of loss column, I think, after Saturday.
Right now, they're 8 up on both Tampa and Toronto, and
that's a huge difference from 6, but it's still.
It would have been 6 with 6 to play against Toronto, and they're now 8 with 6 to play, and then 8 with sorry. It's 3 more to play with Toronto, 6 more to play with Tampa, but it would have been 6 games up. 8 games.
The tiebreaker was settled yesterday, though, with Toronto, in case there was one.
It's a lot different being 8 up. But again, like, you continue to play 300 baseball for another 2 weeks. It could be 5 games with a month to play. And it's like, okay, well, then it doesn't matter how many games left you have to play. You can blow a 5-game lead in a month.
Oh, easily. It's been done before. You could, especially when you're reeling and you're going like this. But that's it. Like, yesterday when you go into that game, understanding that if you lose this game to Mahoah, you get swept by the Blue Jays. And the division is down to 6 games after the lead that they've had. Gotta wake up. Like, you have no choice but to wake up at that point.
So you're saying they are woken up? Or
They're woke. They're woke. Big time woke.
Okay.
Big time woke.
I want to talk about Garrett Cole. And I think it was Kay on the broadcast on Saturday, like, kind of defending Cole, saying, well, he didn't pitch poorly. It's just the offense isn't scoring any runs. And once again with Cole, it's a massive inning, a back-breaking inning from him. It was the 5th inning on Saturday, and he hadn't even allowed a hit to that point. But in that inning, a walk and 5 hits, including 3 doubles in the inning. And it would have been a lot worse if Vlad didn't run through a stop sign at third base, okay? Could have been worse. I've almost completely lost faith in Garrett Cole.
Yeah, oh man, the amount of people that are going to the future the metrics that can tell you if he's pitching well or not, and that still look good for Garrett Cole. I understand that his metrics can look good; they will look good, but optics. When I'm watching this dude go out there and he gave up the no-hitter. Once the no-hitter was given up, it's like boom, boom, boom. The guy has this inning almost every time, it seems like. It's a problem. It's a problem. This one inning is a problem that this man has. And he's got to figure out how to not have this inning. Because all of those other metrics and all of those other stats and the 5 other innings that he pitched or 6 other innings that he pitched, if he throws 7 or throws 6 and has that one bad inning, that's all I care about is that one. That's it. I don't give a flying F about the rest of it. Because if you have that one inning that's bad and everything else around you says you were good, but you weren't. You didn't finish the job. You got to finish the job on that given day. Bottom line, that's it. It's like, you can't tell me all of these other metrics because they don't matter. If he sprinkled in 5 runs across all of them and his metrics look bad, would that be better? No, it wouldn't be. He gave up. When he has a 3 to 4 run inning, it to me, it eliminates the rest of the good stats on that start.
Of course it does. Now, it's unfair to say, here's your 1-0 lead, Garrett, go pitch 6 shutout innings. That's completely unfair. But
it's actually not that unfair to Garrett Cole, because I had a tweet that I didn't send. I thought I did, but I didn't send it. It's in draft still. On this, like today, I wrote Garrett Cole needs to put up zeros, and the Yankees need to figure out how to get a run across. And if the game is 1-0, they need to win that game. And Garrett Cole needs to be the stopper. He needs to be that guy. He's not that guy.
He's not
that guy. Nestor's that guy, but he's not that guy, and he needs to be the ace that you can depend on. This man's going to go up and throw zero. Roger Clemens would throw zeros.
Yes.
Zeros.
Yeah. There's pitchers throughout history. There's pitchers in today's game that you get them a 1-0 lead when your team is struggling this badly. They're not going to give up a run. Garrett Cole's not that guy. And that's what I mean when I've lost faith in him. I am no longer holding out hope he's going to be the nut up balls ace that the Yankees are paying him to be. He's not that pitcher. He's not. We've seen it. He's not that guy. He's not that personality. He's a fake tough guy, which is what Alek Manoah called him out to be, a fake tough guy. Yeah, you come out barking like, head chin up after Judge gets hits. You're not going to walk past the Audi sign. I know you're not going to walk past the Audi sign. And if Cole did walk past the Audi sign, Manoah's going to body him, and he knows it. Fatso
Manoah. Do what you want with this information, but just looking, Garrett Cole hasn't given up a run. Like, he hasn't given up a run in 2 separate innings in a start since July 23rd against the Orioles.
Okay, so what
every start since then. No, it's insane though, because it's weird, because how do you rationalize that?
Is that a trend? Okay, is that a fluke or a trend?
I don't know.
How many starts? Logan, say that stat again. Say that stat again.
He hasn't given up a run in multiple innings since July 23rd. It's a month.
Every start since July 23rd, he's had one bad inning. And
5 starts in a row.
5 starts in a row, it's one bad inning. And is it, how many runs can you get each time, how many runs it was in each of those innings?
So yesterday it was 4. Then against Tampa it was 1, so that's not a blow-up inning. No. Against Seattle it was 0. He went 7 shutouts, so that's good. And then at home against Seattle it was that 6-run first inning. And then before that it was Kansas City. He gave up 5 in that inning.
So there's been 2 good starts sprinkled into those 5 starts, and then 3 with the blow-up innings. What's going to happen in Game 1 of the playoffs? Are you going to get the 6 innings, and the one time he gives up a run in the game, it's just going to be a solo shot or something like that? Fine. Or is he going to give up 5 runs in the 4th inning? Who are we getting?
If Garrett Cole's giving up, if you were listening to the K-Rod cast when Clemens came on. Again, must see TV when you're listening to that. I know, I'm obsessed. But listening to him talk pitching is it's like porn for me. I love it. It's I can't get enough. So the not that I can't get enough of porn.
I was gonna let that one hang.
But he's talking about power pitchers giving up home runs. Verlander was a few years back when he was Cy Young, gave up the most home runs in baseball, if I remember correctly. He was up there.
Yep.
But they're solo shots. Clemens talking about the same thing, solo shots. If you're attacking a guy and you're giving up home runs when there's no runners on, fine. You can let that happen. But you can't get snake bit with 1, 2, 3 runners on. You just can't get snake bit that way as that pitcher. You cannot. You can pitch to contact when there's nobody on base, and if you give up a home run and someone beats you to the ball, so be it. But that's the way they pitch. You have to pitch differently with runners on. You could not be giving up those big innings as the number 1 dude. You cannot, and he does, and he's susceptible to it. And unfortunately, Tyone, who's not in that same spot, is a similar prototype.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so Cole in his last 4 games is pitching to a 3.96 ERA. Again, it's not awful. It's just not what we need Cole to be. It's not what we think Cole can be, what he should be. The one pitcher, obviously, of the 5 that has been horrendous is Frankie Montes, and he's had another bad outing on Thursday. He gave up 5 runs in the 2nd inning. That's the 2nd time he's given up 5 runs in the 2nd inning in his 3 starts with the Yankees. I don't know. This is still only 3 starts. It was 6 innings and 6 runs allowed, but it's a really bad start for Montes.
I know he was coming back from an injury, in Oakland, and I really, really hope that we don't find out later that this guy is still hurt and we got damaged goods coming in here.
I mean, the medical.
I know he's being built back up. I know he's cleared. All obviously they did their homework and they did their CSI on making sure that this guy was healthy, but I don't know what to tell you. He doesn't look like the same dude that was putting up the numbers in Oakland pre-injury. He just doesn't look like that guy. And I understand he's being, built back up. So maybe this is part of it. This is a little bit of a spring training situation for him. New atmosphere. All of this is a perfect storm, and he's gonna shove for the next month. I hope so, but we need to see that because he ain't lining up there as the number 2 guy in the playoffs as we all thought he was going to be, and as he was intended for.
Number 2
he ain't gonna line up at.
Garrett Cole's the number 2 guy.
Oh, okay, that's true. Nestor's our guy now.
I mean, I'm not 100% kidding here. You've got a Game 5 winner go home, Game 7 winner go home. I know, it's going to be Garrett Cole if he's on any sort of regular rest, but I think I might rather have Nestor. I think I might know more what I'm getting out of Nestor Cortes in that situation than out of Garrett Cole. Yeah, Garrett Cole could pitch 7 shutout innings.
Nestor Cortes has the lowest ERA as starting pitchers over the past year.
He's just
either in baseball or AL. Again, stat from the broadcast here, but the guy is. This is not a small sample size any longer. This is Nestor Cortes is a very good pitcher.
He's not going to poop his pants out there and give up 5 runs in an inning in a big start. I don't think it's going to happen.
And if he does, you won't tell because it's part of his deception. Poop the pants, in the middle of his mechanics. You might not know. It might be part of the smoke and mirrors that he's given and throwing everybody. It might be just part of it. Might be like the bloody sock.
So the Mets coming across town, and looks like Yankees are going to be facing Scherzer, DeGrom. So perfect time to face Scherzer and DeGrom when these are the OPSs in the Yankees lineup over the past 2 weeks. 649 from Rizzo, 476 from Torres, 505 from Donaldson, 325 from Aaron Hicks. That's an OPS, not a batting average, not even an on. That is
he just needs to stop being in the conversation. Harrison Bader needs to hurry.
Judge, hold on.
Harrison Bader, whoever you are, hurry up.
Judge, 267 OPS. I know he's been struggling, but holy shit, I didn't realize it was that bad. He's not even getting on base.
Because the man can't get a pitch. The man can't get a pitch over the plate. Nobody respects anybody else in the lineup.
DJ had the 2 hits yesterday, but before that, 328 OPS. Benintendi, the big game, but before that, 609 OPS, and then IKF, a 604 OPS. So, yeah, that is the juggernaut lineup going up against 2 of the baddest motherfuckers on the face of the earth when it comes to starting pitching, Max Scherzer and Jacob DeGrom. If you're betting on the game, pound the under. WynnBET is now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. They bring the excitement of the Wynn Las Vegas to online sports betting and casino play. From boosted same-game parlays to live in-game odds on every major sport, WynnBET has what you need to win. Sign up today to receive a special offer. Bet $50 to win $200 using code XBlueWire. Rough that they got to face Scherzer and DeGrom this week, Scott.
Half glass full. Here we go.
Okay.
You got Manoah, you got DeGrom, you got Scherzer DeGrom. Hopefully, if we see this, I know that they're possibly throwing Taijuan Walker in there to give DeGrom an extra day. Frankly, if I'm the Mets, I'm definitely 1,000% going Scherzer and DeGrom against the Yankees. If for no reason, just to do it because it's the Yankees cross town, I fully expect that to happen. But again, glass half full. Manoah, good pitcher. I know been struggling recently. Won that game.
Okay, you won. Okay.
You won the game. Now going up against Scherzer, DeGrom. Does it really matter? They can't score runs against shitty pitchers. Might as well.
You could have a pitching machine out there and they're not scoring runs, okay?
So they're going up. You give me some pressure situation. You give me a little bit of a different feel. Maybe that will help spark it. You get through this. If you win 2 of 3, you split. Hey, now you're looking back. You were like, guess what, boys? We just got through the gauntlet.
Yep.
Now let's go kick some ass for the rest of the season. Going on to the West Coast, you got some inferior opponents that you can toy around, just like like a big bear batting around a bunny. No problem. Get through these games. Use these as line in the sand for your offense getting back on track and dominating and beating these two of the best pitchers in baseball. Nothing but upside.
It might be Taijuan Walker instead of DeGrom. That's TBD. But I have a hard time believing that Buck Showalter, if he has a chance to sweep the Yankees on the season, is not going to pitch Jacob DeGrom at Yankee Stadium.
It's probably a mandate coming down from the front office. To
your point, yeah, you're facing Scherzer and DeGrom. If you're not going to hit them, right? You're not going to score 8 runs off these guys because they don't.
Maybe they will.
But if you scratch runs and you have good at bats and you win games against these guys, that can be a motivating factor. Because if you're facing some scrub and you put up runs, it's like, great, we put up runs. Is that really the offense turning it around, or did you just face a scrub? Where you score 3 runs off of Max Scherzer, that's better than scoring 10 runs off of a scrub.
Oh, 1,000%. If you win those games, you look at you scored enough runs to beat Scherzer or DeGrom. So whether it directly comes off of them or you have the game close enough so that you could strike against the bullpen, all good things. So yeah, these are 2 big games. Mets aside, obviously the Yankees want to beat the Mets. Everybody who's a Yankees fan wants to beat the Mets. Mets very badly want to beat the Yankees and sweep that series, and they're set up to do it with the 2 pitchers they can. So, chip on the shoulder here. Chip on the shoulder, manifest it, make it.
And they go to Oakland and Anaheim, West Coast swing after this. I'm gonna be on West Coast time for the weekend West Coast games. Although I'm gonna be at a bachelor party, so you went to a baseball game, so you saw the baseball game. But when you're at a bachelor party, it's a little bit more tough to follow the games going on. But I'll do my best. Anything else you wanted to touch on from the weekend or any of the O'Neill stuff before we wrap this up? We do have voicemails, which a lot. The highs and lows over the past week have been enormous. Obviously, the Donaldson walk-off, and then even yesterday's game with Benintendi, like 2 super high highs, but the rest have just been bottom of the valley lows.
Yeah, that's the life. That's the life of a fan, baby. You go up, you go down, and sometimes you crash hard, and sometimes you're exploding to the top. So, look, I want them to put up some good at bats against these 2 big boys coming in, and hopefully they can scratch out enough to win. 2 big games though, 2 big games, line in the sand type games. The guys really got to get up.
Yeah, you gotta win both of these games. That seems almost undoable right now. So you split and then you try and just forget about this homestand and you move on to the West Coast, I feel like.
When you see those 2 guys lining up against you, if it does end up being DeGrom, you got to win. You go win one of them. Obviously, you want to win the first one, so that you're not in the situation where DeGrom's throwing up against you to sweep the series. It's like, that's not a good situation.
Yeah.
Go after crazy eyes.
We're gonna have an episode. So I'm gonna have Derek from NYY Recaps. I went on his channel a couple weeks back before the trade deadline. He's going to be on our show on Wednesday. Scott, you are going to be traveling, so TBD if you're going to be on any other episodes later this week, but we definitely will do there's going to be an episode I'm doing with Derek on Wednesday after the Mets series, and then I'm traveling, so I guess after that